Good afternoon. It's Lindsay. It is it's February 1st, 2025, and I wanted to talk today about more of this weird gang stalking, being targeted and surveilled, and what happened yesterday when I left my house. Well, I'm going to talk about what happened yesterday. I'm going to talk about what happened today also, and this is more evidence that I'm being targeted. At least I can put two and two together and figure out that this is no accident, it's no coincidence. The way they're surveilling me and whatnot to do street theater stuff when I go out in public to force me to react to what they're doing. And of course, right now, this is all very coordinated with the fact that, it's a new month. That stuff with this narcissistic individual has all, I've been talking about that. That person is doing a smear campaign on me, of which I have been retaliating against by being vocal about it. And so, of course, they want to get revenge. So it's all very much connected because I can, see all the coordinated tactics that they are doing to punish me, to try to shame me, to isolate me, to humiliate me, to embarrass me. And this is what they'll do when you are exposing somebody who is a somebody in the community who might who thinks that they are better than everybody else, or who's a narcissist. Yeah, so and I've talked about that, and that's what's going on. And of course, this is because people, it's a common psychological fact that depending on where you live, what city you live in, what part of the United States or what country you live in, people, depending on the culture you're around or that you are a part of, people have different methods. Some people are more gossiping or gossipy, if that's a word, than others. And other cultures are more, they kind of stay to themselves, are more cold. It just depends on the culture, the way the people were raised, where you're living, etc. That's just all common sense. Me, coming from a large city, from Houston, yet being exposed to different kinds of, communities and cultures and whatnot throughout my life, I'm very in tune with behavior and watching and observing people's behavior patterns and whatnot. And so, of course, being that I live in a city that's predominantly Hispanic, Mexican American or Latino, mostly, I think San Antonio is 60% Hispanic. And actually, I would say that it's more than that, because pretty much I feel like I'm living in, may as well be living at the border town of Laredo or something. I'm just saying I look around and I mostly see, at least where I live, it's mostly all Hispanics in this area, or blacks. There are Caucasian people, but not as many. I don't see as many, but lately, in the past few years, being that there's all this gentrification going on in this neighborhood, this east area, there are people coming in from different, cities or states and whatnot, moving to San Antonio, and especially in this area because it's closer to downtown, and there's a lot of renovation and new homes going up that I noticed, but they all kind of look like cookie cutter, run-of-the-mill type homes that were built in about a month or two. Those kinds of homes, they're nice looking, but they don't have that kind of character, or they don't have much history to them, but they're in a historical part of town, I guess. Yeah, this is an old part of town. It is. Most of the houses here are from the older houses. So yeah, but those newer homes, they stick out. They look kind of weird in an area that's predominantly old, dilapidated. A lot of the homes that are falling apart, dilapidated, yet people still live in them and they take care of them, but they're falling apart. Things are, as inevitably with older homes, things fall apart. But anyway, so I'm I do speak Spanish. I did live in Bolivia as an exchange student when I was in high school. I did study Spanish in the university, so I have a degree in Spanish, which doesn't really mean a damn thing, but I'm just saying I'm familiar. I can speak the language pretty well, and I can understand it pretty well, okay? But I notice that people obviously from different parts of Latin America, maybe, well, depending on where they're from, the way they speak Spanish is very different. People from like Panama, people from Cuba, people from even Puerto Rico, which is part of the United States, but they have a different way of speaking Spanish as well as even writing it. Sometimes it's like it looks like it's incorrect grammatically, and it is. It's not proper Spanish grammatically, but I can still understand it. But I get irritated. I happen to be, yes, I can respect the cultures because I find it interesting to talk to people from different countries and cultures, or especially Latin America, because I can, kind of speak pretty familiar with the language. But I tend to also get irritated at the same time when people can't speak my language, which is English. My native language is English, and when people they try, I know a lot of these people try to speak English, or some of them don't even bother to even want to learn English. Go figure, that they've lived here a long time. They don't really have to learn English because, people speak, everybody speaks Spanish too. But I personally get a little bit irritated sometimes when I'm around somebody who just doesn't even bother to try to speak English. If you're living in a city in the United States, you should, and it's an English-speaking country, you should probably, by all means, try to learn the language at least. I know that I would never want to go live in a country or move to a country and try to work and whatnot and not know the language. I would make sure that prior to living in a country that I would study the language thoroughly to at least get a really good feel for it, so that I don't get myself into, come on, it's common. You need to know the language when you go live in a country. It's common sense. I'm not going to go live in Russia without speaking Russian. I could go visit, but I'd like to know at least how to communicate with the natives, with the locals. A lot of Americans, they have this mentality that they go to these foreign countries because they're less expensive. They become expatriates of these countries. A lot of them are in Mexico. A lot of them are in South America, Central America, but they don't bother to learn Spanish. They go there acting like typical American, ignorant people who don't bother to learn Spanish. And I've heard stories about this over and over again from people, how it's, and just like that probably makes the locals of those countries irritated when they have all these people coming in who don't speak the language. They come over to take advantage of the cheap housing, the cheap food and whatnot, but they don't speak the language, or they don't want to learn the language. So it goes both ways. With them coming over here and not wanting to learn English, and people going over there thinking that they're entitled and they don't need to learn the language because it's a third world country, and why should I have to, stoop down to that level when I'm a United States citizen or whatever. That kind of mentality, which I think is disgusting. To have that kind of mentality, but some people do have that kind of mentality, and it's just whatever. But I've seen that. When I would go to Oaxaca, lived several summers going there, and as well as people in Bolivia. There are a lot of Americans and Europeans living in Bolivia, I remember, and some of them can be very arrogant. It just depends. It just depends on that person's individual upbringing and whatnot. But people are people. I get it. I understand. There's people who you like or you gravitate towards, and there's other people you don't, and that's just the way life is. But so anyway, what happened yesterday as far as this targeted stuff? And I know this is once again going to sound completely crazy. And it's going to sound like people are going to think, oh, that's just a random coincidence. What you're talking about, you're just crazy, or you're just, why would, but no. When you're a targeted individual and they're surveilling you and you have angered people, or if, they will do things, they will go out of their way to stage car accidents, to do things to get your attention or to prevent you from maybe going somewhere that they know that you like to go to. And I swear to God, that's part of what they do to me, is if they know that I'm going to the gym, They want to make sure that any route that I go that direction west is blocked off somehow, or that something's fucked up. It seems like every time I start going a different direction in town, they start doing, within about a week, they'll start doing some major construction. Within like a week of my consistently using that route, that all of a sudden there's all this like construction shit going on. And I know that's, that's just, no, I know people are thinking, what, you're nobody important. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's just kind of an odd coincidence that happens to me all the time. And considering the fact that my uncle, our father, Alan Baldwin, who died, had some kind of construction company called, he had a construction company that they don't want me to know about because I guess, it was called Okie Dokie or something. He had some kind of company that had to do with construction. I know that for a fact. I have a lot of documents that these people think that I didn't figure shit out, but I did a lot of my own research to find out things about this man, my supposed uncle or father, that they didn't want me to know about. The man was no dummy, was not stupid just because he lived in a modest way, in a isolated, because he was a hermit or recluse, doesn't mean he was stupid. He just was kind of didn't like to be around people. That he's a lot like me, likes to be alone and didn't like people that much. He just kind of, probably with years of experience, realized that he preferred to be alone and do his own thing, which I respect a lot because I'm that way as well. Most people, I can spend a little bit of time socializing and being around people, but I have to do it in very small doses because I really prefer my solitude and I enjoy being alone. I really do like to do things by myself and spend time alone. I don't like people in my house. I don't like people watching me in my house. I'm a very private person, but I'm also very open and communicative about what my experiences have been, and I do know how to communicate effectively. I just choose to kind of, like, when it comes to like going out, and I stay quiet. I like in public places, I generally stay very much to myself and don't, at least I just don't like to engage with a bunch of banter and gossip and whatnot because I don't know these people. They don't know me. They've probably heard stuff about me, but they don't know me personally. So I kind of like to keep it that way. I have to, for my own protection, actually, especially now with all this weird stuff, smear campaign. I'm still enduring some kind of a bizarre revenge smear campaign because when you upset somebody who's like psychopathic, narcissistic, controlling person, they have to make sure that they destroy your life and that they don't want you to move on. And if you do, they're going to hack in and infiltrate everything about your life that has to do with your meeting new people or going to new places. They want to make sure that they get in the middle of that to fuck it up because they're envious of your progress and they don't want to see you elevate because it makes them mad. They want to keep you in a box that they can control and manipulate like a puppet on a string. And this is real. This is how these people are. When you see people who are controlling, if you see any kinds of signs of somebody who has a controlling, manipulative mannerisms and they're constantly critiquing you, dragging you down, albeit subtle, and they're trying to basically change who you are, behavior modification and whatnot, using all this gaslighting and psychological tactics against you to mock you and humiliate you and insult you about everything about you, then you need to see that that's like a big red flag, that these people are doing that because they have their own insecurities and they're projecting a lot of that onto you because you seem like somebody who's weak and vulnerable, and they'll take advantage of that. A lot of people, I've experienced that a lot over my life, and you just have to, because I experienced that growing up as well with a manipulative, narcissistic sibling, half sibling, and other people in my life who always wanted to control me. And I'm a very independent-minded person, and people don't like that. People, especially men, men love to be in control of women. And and the way it is like men think that, okay, she's an independent woman, she can think for herself. They don't like that either because a lot of them don't. That makes them intimidated, or they, fear losing control. The biggest thing with these narcissistic people is loss of control of their target. Okay, that's the one thing they can't stand, is being exposed and then feeling like they've lost control over somebody who they need as their crutch. Like, they need you more than you need them. Basically, you're going to realize that after being around these people, how needy they are, how clingy they are, how possessive they are, jealous. Oh, they'll be jealous. They'll tell you not to do this or the other, but then if you dare confront them about something, oh, are you jealous? What? No. Yeah, but they are as well, and they'll show you. They'll tell you what to do. They'll start demanding of you, making demands that are, it's like, excuse me, it's my life. You're not my handler or my owner or my whatever. What the fuck is your problem? You know, it's like they want to control who you talk to, what you do, what you eat. It's like everything about, it's like, excuse me, I'm not a fucking I'm not your business. You don't own me. And so fuck off. You know, don't tell me what to do or how to think. And who the fuck does that? What kind of person comes into somebody's life and starts trying to completely change who they are? What the fuck kind of mentally ill person is going to do that? If you don't like somebody, then stay the fuck away from them. It's really kind of easy. Common sense, you know? Just avoid them. Duh, you know? But anyway, so what happened yesterday, though, as I was leaving in the morning to go to the gym, and it was not, you know, it was early, not early, but early enough. And I was leaving, going down to my route off of South Gevers, however you say it, and I was turning onto the freeway. I took a right onto the feeder over there at what is that? I get that's I-10. Is it I-10? Because if you go that way, it's east. So I was going down I-10 west, right? I was turning right, and that's I-10 towards west, towards like El Paso, whatever, west. Not 35. I mean, sometimes whatever. I get confused. Sorry, but that's I-10 out there. I don't live that far from the I-10 freeway. And so I was going west. I had come to the stoplight at New Braunfels Avenue. New Braunfels and the feeder street by I-10. Okay, as I was driving to the stoplight intersection, the light was still green. Thank God I'm a good driver, and thank God I pay close attention. Especially, there's a lot of fucking traffic in the mornings around here. Lots of traffic, and it was horrible the other day. Lots and lots of traffic at like whatever time. It was like 7:30, close to 7:30 or something. I don't know. 8 o'clock. I don't know. I don't remember the exact time, but there was a shitload of traffic. And the roads were kind of wet as well. It was slick. The roads were slick. That was yesterday. Yeah, it was not necessarily great driving conditions. If I'm not mistaken, was that yesterday that was like that? But whatever. Okay, today was really nice outside but I think the roads were slick yesterday. I think it was kind of nasty. I think it was. But I know this happened yesterday, and that was on Friday, January 31st. So I come to a stop. The light changes. So I come to the stoplight. It's red. I stop. Right when I'm coming to the intersection at a stop, I watch this lady, this car. I think it was like a little one of these. It was a burnt orange colored, some little Jeep looking thing. I don't know if it was a smaller Jeep, one of these little four-door truck looking Jeep things. I don't know, some kind of little car that was like a 4-door little mini, like a what do they call those things? Not a sedan. No, not a sedan. I'm not. Well, anyway, it was just one of like a little 4Runner, kind of miniature 4Runner type thing, and it was a burnt orange. I remember that much. It was like, and so I watched her speed through the fucking intersection, right? And as she's doing that, the person on the right hand side of me, who was driving, or somebody in a white car, I don't know, because she was coming from south, heading north. Okay, she was coming south on New Braunfels, heading north on New Braunfels. Here I am at the stoplight right there, heading west. and she just like slammed in. Oh, I think the woman in the white car was going in the other lane, heading her direction as well. I guess it was something. Somebody ran a red light. Whoever it was, somebody ran a red light. I don't know if it was her or the person in the white car, but oh no. Yeah, because what happened, okay, no, because that white car was heading that direction as well, was also heading the same direction she was. Because I remember, I guess, I don't know, because anyway, they collided. They got into a collision. They just, bam, bad accident, pretty bad, loud accident, okay? And I was like, I watched the car spin around, and it was a pretty bad accident. And I was like, shit, I was just kind of like sitting there. The light was even still red, but I was like, shit, I didn't know what, I was kind of like in shock. Because I realized that this is going to sound, because I had just gone to the brake check the day before to get my brakes looked at, and there were still problems with my car, and and anyway, it just so happens that I had this accelerator energy drink. Okay, I know this sounds fucking crazy, but come on, this is the first time that that was yesterday, and this is a duplicate because I had bought 2 of them at the Dollar Tree. That's the first time I've ever tried this drink, Accelerator, and I just randomly chose these as Island Guava Accelerator, okay? And I had that with me in the car, okay? And she gets out, the black woman gets out the burnt orange Jeep looking thing, and she's all fucking confused, and she has on she's either a nurse or something in the medical field, because she has on one of those colored shirts that says boom. Her shirt said boom boom and all this crap like bang bang boom and shit like that on her colored shirt thing. And she's a black woman. She had a short, kind of orangish, brownish, blondish hair. She was probably about 5'5" or something, 5'6", kind of a big boned lady. But she was just like, kind of going nut. Like she was all just frazzled as can be. And the girl in the white, some woman in the white car had hit the embankment, the bridge over there. There's a bridge over like this little whatever over there at New Braunfels in Gevers, South Gevers, and she was all fucked. Her car was basically like almost off the bridge. She didn't, it hit the bridge, and it was just like smashed into the bridge. And I'm like, oh my God, is she okay? I'm thinking, and it was all smoking and shit. And I watched her get out of the car. She was okay. She was a probably Hispanic woman, black hair, dark hair, and she had on like pajamas or like a jumpsuit kind of sweatpants. And I guess she was gray sweatpants. I think she was okay because I was waiting around. I was like, shit, are these people okay? I don't know what. And then there was this other man, this Hispanic man, elderly man crossing the street. He walked right in front of my car as I was at the stoplight watching all this manifest. And they had taken up the whole lane. Like, you could still go around them, but they were pretty much like they had blocked off the whole, it was, you couldn't, you had to go either to the left of them. You couldn't go the right, or you probably could, but she had taken, it was like completely just a mess. But that one, it's like, fuck, that woman could have easily gone off of the fucking bridge or died. Anybody could have died in that accident because, But anyway, I was like, okay, I did watch to see if they were okay. They were able to get out of their cars, so everything was okay. I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go. Because I thought, should I stop? Should I didn't. I was like, I need to go find out if they're okay or what do I do? And I kind of went into panic mode myself. I was like, my heart was racing. I felt like I was like, fuck, I don't know what to, I need to do something, or I wanted to do something, but I didn't. I kind of froze. I literally kind of went into shock myself for some reason. I just kind of froze. I couldn't move. I literally was stuck. But then I saw that they're okay, and I just went ahead and drove on to get on the freeway and go to the gym. But I was like, fuck, and I got to the gym. I'm thinking, shit, that could have easily been me. And I was like, that I came really close. It could have been me, but it wasn't. And I was thankful for that, but fuck. And then I get to the gym, And I'm just kind of all, thankful to get there in one piece, because every day my biggest fear is that I'm going to get in a fucking car accident because of the way people drive around here. They don't seem to pay. They seem to be very distracted. They seem to always be doing, because I look around when I notice people going really slow in lanes on the freeway, or they're doing something like kind of not, driving properly, and I'll glance at them, and they're usually like, they look like they're just either on drunk or on drugs, or they're bopping their head up and down, or they can barely see above the wheel, just all kinds of weird shit. And it's like, and some of these people look like they might be really shouldn't be driving. They shouldn't be driving. They just appears like that. It's really strange. And you see that all over San Antonio. I've noticed that trend where some of these people, really, the way they're driving, they shouldn't be driving. And I don't really see anybody doing anything about it. I don't see hardly any police officers on the streets at all. Very few. I don't know what they do. I mean, I don't see patrol. I don't see anybody in the traffic doing shit as far as like pulling people over, giving tickets. I sometimes see motorcycle cops, but you don't see a lot of them on the highways. I don't know. They're kind of like non-existent, really. At least I never see them hardly. I don't know what they do and how they make money. I guess they have a quota that they have to fulfill. But anyway, there's a lot of fucking problems with traffic in this city, and it's getting worse and worse. And the way people drive is getting to the point where it's downright frightening to even, you better fucking say a prayer or Hail Mary or some shit, or pray to your God or whoever before you get in your car, because I'm shocked at the way what I've seen and the way people drive. I used to see so many horrific, but by the way, that accident the other day, I thought, is this staged? It almost felt like it was like a staged accident. And I was like, nah, it couldn't be. That was just, but I was like, maybe it is, being that I'm a targeted person, and maybe, but maybe not. I'm thinking, no, it's just a random accident. But see, that's where if I say anything like that, like it was a staged accident, then, oh, you're crazy, you're delusional, you're schizophrenic or mentally ill. So if you dare say anything like that and make a statement like that, or if I do, then, oh, what's wrong with you? Well, you're crazy. Well, but no, believe it or not, when they target people as heavily as I get targeted and harassed and gang stalked or surveilled here in this neighborhood at Eastside, San Antonio, Denver Heights, they will stage car accidents at times. Because they used to do that all the time when I lived at Canton Street, Canton and Walters. There were probably, I would say, on a weekly basis, at least 2 to 3 major car accidents right there at the stop sign by Canton and Walters, South Walters, or North Walters, I guess is what that part of it was. North Walters, all the time, one after the other, and I would hear the loud bang, bang, boom in the middle of the fucking night when I'd be asleep or early in the morning, and I'd go out there and I'd start filming it with my phone, because I would see all kinds of shit, people screaming at each other, fighting, throwing shit, getting mad. I mean, I would see so many bad car accidents right there all the time, and and a lot of times, all the time, bad car accidents right there at Walters and North Walters and Canton Street, constantly. Unrealistic, like, not unrealistic because they were real, but the word I'm trying to say is like almost like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not unrealistic, but I can't think of the right word. I'm sorry. My mind is kind of racing. So anyway, that happened yesterday. I was like, fuck. And so let me talk about what happened today. And yesterday, yes, I had gone to the break place. Was it yesterday or the day before? The day before I had been to the break place. Yesterday was a car accident I saw. It was the day before on Thursday that I had gone to the brake check to get spent all day there after I left the gym, came from the gym, went straight there and spent like about 4 to 5 hours waiting for them to look at my car, at least 3.5 hours, 4 hours, whatever. Luckily, I went next door to eat because I was hungry after the gym, so I went and ate lunch at that Mexican place, which was pretty good. It was stale. The taco shell was really stale. Other than that, it was good food, good service. But the taco shell was really stale. That was my only complaint. And then some little Jalisco, Guadalajara Mexican restaurant. They're all over the place in San Antonio. But they're pretty good. Most of those places are my favorite kinds of places. They're really, to me, I like those places a lot. But and then so when I'm at the brake check yesterday, I'm waiting. I had to go pee a few times, obviously. And I went to the bathroom, and it was in the middle. It was a weird time to be there. Okay, there's a lot of like men coming in there, and they'd go into the bathroom, and they'd come out, and the bathroom would just smell really bad. Like I saw two different men when I was there sitting down. One of them went to the bathroom, and after he was in there for like 10 minutes. He came out, and it smelled so bad. I mean, I could just smell like horrible, like defecation all over. It was permeating the entire lobby. I'm sorry to be so, but it smelled really bad, and I think he was embarrassed. I could tell that he was kind of embarrassed when he went back to sit down because it was just so bad. And then another man did the same thing later on in the day, right when about the time when my car was ready. Another man went in there with his to-go bag that said thank you, and it was like a Lone Star on it, to-go bag. He went in there. He spent about like maybe 7-8 minutes in there. He comes out once again, pretty bad odor, and he had brought his food in there with him. Obviously, I guess because he didn't want to leave it out. Somebody might steal it, but it just smelled really bad. I'm sorry, but I guess that's meat eating. I don't eat meat, and I know that people who do, not to sound too mean, but a lot of times when people eat a lot of meat, your bodily excrements or your shit, when you defecate, it smells like a dead animal. It smells really bad when you eat a lot of meat. It just does. It smells like a dead animal. Ugh. So anyway, the bathroom was really dirty too. It had like a completely empty soap container. It had a Christmas tree on it. I remember that much. I don't know the brand. I don't remember the brand, but it was almost all gone. The bathroom was dirty, and it smelled really bad. And the soap had a Christmas tree on it. It was almost nothing in there. And I was like, shit, does anybody ever clean the bathroom in here? I'm thinking. It didn't look like it had been cleaned in a long time. And then that was at Brake Check over there on Fair Avenue. I'm like, okay, I've just, fortunately, I got to urinate in the other fucking bathroom when I went to eat. And then, but see, I ate, I guess that was part of the punishment, is they knew that it's almost like they were punishing me because I went to eat something because I was hungry after, I wanted to eat lunch. And so maybe it's like almost like they wanted to fucking punish me and fuck with me about that. These men is part of this targeting thing, because everything's under surveillance, and then the fucking Kim Kardashian crap coming, all this shit, and I'm like mostly just listening to my music, trying to fucking, like avoidant. They say that I have avoidant personality because I'm kind of antisocial, because I just stay to myself, and I just like to hear my music or listen to and then I started listening to Scott Hensler on my phone on BitChute, but then my phone battery completely died, so I still had to wait around. And finally, I got to leave by the time the place was about to close, and that was on Thursday. But I went back this morning to Brake Check because I was still noticing that yesterday when I was driving, I was noticing, and after I had gotten it fixed, I was like, there's something still not right. The car still seems like it's not in alignment properly. Something still doesn't feel right. And so as much driving as I do on the freeways, I needed to make sure that everything was okay. And I know that I still have other work that needs to be done, because they told me what's going wrong with there's still other issues that I have to get fixed. And so anyway, I called them yesterday, and I was like, and this was after I had to go to the store, and I went to the Dollar Tree. Did I go to the Dollar Tree? Yeah, and on my way, and I got back here, and I called. did I go to the Dollar Tree yesterday? Yeah, I did. I went to the one on what the fuck is it? Goliad. Apparently they're going to close down a bunch of Dollar Trees, I heard, this year. But anyway, I don't know. Some of them are really weird. Like I've been to a lot of them. Some of them have absolutely nothing. Like half the time there's nothing. Like the stock is so horrible. They're very low on stock or things. And then others are much better. It just depends on where or which location. But I tell you, some of them are just like, it's like, I can't believe the store's still open. You go in there's nothing on the shelves hardly. Some of them in San Antonio. Others are different. But but I go there a lot. I go to the Dollar Tree all the time to buy, toilet paper and other things. I go there a lot, very regularly. It's like my favorite little dime store, 5 and dime kind of thing, So yeah, back what I was saying. So I got back here and I was like, I'm gonna call the brake check and find out what the fuck if I can bring it back in. So I called them. I said I need to bring it back in because I'm still having problems. And I told him I'm going to be bringing my car back in the next couple of days. And he said, okay, that's fine. We're going to recheck it for you and all that and test drive it. So this morning I figured, okay. And I said, how long is that going to take? If I go ahead and get the other work done that you recommend, how long is that going to take? He said it's going to take all day. You can bring it in and you can drop it off and it's going to take all day long, at least 4 hours. I said, okay. So this morning I was prepared to take my car and expecting that it was going to be there for like 4 or 5 hours all day. So I was going to walk back home. I literally, or take a lift or something, because I was like, shit, I'm not going to sit around there all day. I'm going to drive my car there this morning and then I'm going to walk home. And that was it. I wasn't even planning on going to the gym because I was expecting my car to be at the car brake check all day. But what happened was when I got there really early, like right when they opened this morning, like a few minutes after 8 o'clock or 8:15 or something, because I wanted to make sure that I got there early. And there was no one else there. They were really friendly with me. The place was clean. It smelled nice. The bathroom was really clean. The toilet, everything, the soap had been replaced with, believe it or not, they had replaced the soap with, get this, the soap that I have in my kitchen. They had replaced the soap in the bathroom. Oh, sorry, ma'am. With this exact soap, which is what I have in my kitchen. Same soap in the bathroom at the brake check that I noticed there this morning. Like, that's interesting. And it was really clean. The bathroom was really clean. Smelled nice. And the toilet, everything was clean. Like, wow. Compared to a couple days ago, somebody cleaned up. And so I was like, thank God, because I had to pee really bad. And so then I had the guy behind the counter, his name was Daniel. I think he was probably Hispanic, kind of caramel color, lighter skinned Hispanic, light brown hair, kind of tawny colored skin, kind of hazel eyes, young man. Very nice, very professional, very well behaved, friendly. And so he was there behind the desk, and he took my car for a drive, and then he said I told him what was going on, so he went for a test drive for like 10 minutes, and I get they do some route where they actually drive on the freeway, because I was telling him what was going on, so he told me what he thought it was. I said, so how long is it going to take for you guys to fix this? So what they did was they completely rotated the tires again, and did something else with the alignment and kind of looked over it again to make it so they had to do something. Basically, they had to, like I just said, rotate it and do some kind of fix the alignment again. And so that took like an hour. And so I went for a little walk. Like I said, I was expecting to leave the car there all day for them to do other work, but I ended up, the change of plans, because they told me it's not necessary right now. That just wait for that. And so I decided to wait, because it's like another $500 it's going to cost to do that. Wherever I end up doing that, it's a lot of money, but it has to be done at some point. cars fall apart. Obviously, it's a used car. It's got like 95,000 miles on it. It's a Honda, and they last a long time, but everything has to be replaced. Obviously, when it comes to vehicles, at some point, things don't last forever. And so, that only took a lot less time than I thought. So I wasn't planning on that. So I just went for a walk. I went to Home Depot across the street because I used a bathroom. I wanted to walk around a little bit, and I went to pee. And then I started looking at the electronic, the appliances. And because I want to replace my refrigerator, quite honestly. It's too big, it's old, it doesn't work, it's broken, basically. And I was like, I need to, if I'm going to stay here in this house or whatever, which I can't afford to move, and I don't really, I can't, if I could move, I'd go to another, but I can't afford, it's expensive, but they want to kick me out of this house. They're trying to get me to go. But anyway, I'm jumping around from topic to topic. But another thing is that at the brake check, this is what's kind of insulting. Okay, whenever they target people, women especially, and you've upset a man and rejected him, and you refuse to, like I've talked about before, they start shaming you. They do a lot of body shaming and humiliating you in ways that are really subtle to make you feel ugly or old or useless and crap, because you're no longer like a little, what they want you to be, like a little fucking robot sex toy for them to play with and for them to be amused by. And this is really how these control freaks are when you're a female targeted individual, okay? Because I've noticed that pattern with me. They start punishing you and body shaming you and calling you fat and ugly and old, and everything that they can find about you, they're going to pick on you to try to make you feel bad if you start calling them out for their stuff because they think that they're perfect. So I talked about also how I'm always getting in the mail stuff from AARP, AARP. Sometimes it's addressed to me. Other times it's to this David or this Tony guy who lived in this house before. These men who lived here at one point or were a couple, and I don't know how old they were, but I guess obviously they were already, above, in their late 50s or 60s. I don't know exactly. But anyway, so I get that often. And so I'm looking at the brake check, all that they have on they don't have any magazines except to something from AARP right there under the TV, the big flat screen TV. They have like a counter thing, and they've got a bunch of little flyers. They've got their flyers and whatnot, things like this. And Brake Check is a local San Antonio. I didn't realize this. I started reading online about Brake Check, and it's a local American. It was actually created here in San Antonio. The man who started the business worked at Kip's Big Boy Hamburgers, and then he started Brake Check, and he was very successful. And it started in 1968. So it's a good American company, which I support. So anyway, they have a warranty. It's good to go to places when it comes to your vehicle that you can trust, and they have a warranty, because you're going to get fucked over by a lot of mechanics and overcharged. Now, Brake Check is not cheap, but at least they have a warranty. And it's an American company. They speak English fluently, which is always a plus, because there's a lot of really good mechanics, but a lot of them don't speak much English around here. Some of them do, but a lot of them I've noticed they don't really speak much English, or they seem to not really. It's like you have to almost speak to them. You have to speak to them in Spanish, and it's like I don't know all the words to some of these car parts and shit. So I'm like, trying to and I sound like an idiot when I'm trying to explain to them what's going on. It just makes me feel really stupid because I can't quite explain it. And if I try to say it in English, they don't understand. If I try to say it in Spanish, they don't understand either. It's like a communication gap thing or problem. But so at Brake Check, they had this thing with AARP on the table, and I was looking through it today, this morning, and like, oh my God, there's something about cookies and elderly people smoking pot, and there's a little article in there about elderly people who smoke pot end up eating there was a picture of some cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and then, they end up getting a big tire waistline, or the munchies. I'm like, and it was like, oh my God, I would see that, and the fact, and I was like, okay. And then when I was in there, this man, this Mexican or Hispanic man was in there with these big tires, and he was sitting in there when I got back from Home Depot, and he smiled at me, and I watched him walk out with these big, huge tires over back across the street to Home Depot. I'm like, okay, shit. So the thing with the cookies and the guy named Daniel working there, it's like, okay, Daniel, I'm not, and pot, marijuana, the munchies. It's like, okay, and that would be the only magazine they have in there, this art little magazine. I'm thinking, you know what? Number one, I'm thinking to myself, because I'm the only one in there, it's almost meant to like trigger me. I don't smoke pot anymore. And by the way, it should be legalized, big fucking deal. A lot of people smoke it, but I don't do it anymore. I don't like to smoke anything because it hurts my lungs. But I swear to God, it's like they have portrayed me, and I say they, meaning people in the community, because I get community-based gang stalking and harassment everywhere I go, at the stores and whatever. It doesn't even matter what part of town I'm in. They start gossiping about me like they think that I'm like a drug addict. Somebody has told these people that I'm a meth addict, that I'm a prostitute, that I'm a pothead, a cokehead, all these things that these people seem to think about me that are not true. Just because a person in their past has either smoked marijuana or dabbled with marijuana or any drugs in the past, like I'm saying way past or whatever, doesn't mean that they're a chronic drug user. Or doesn't mean that they haven't been that they're not sober. But these people love to create drama, and they love to gossip, and they love to have their scapegoat of the people who are the misfits or whatever, who are the fuck-ups that they just fuck around with and bully. And this happens to me all the time. It's like, I don't need to go explain to a bunch of fucking strangers at the store or at the gym that, oh, by the way, I used to smoke pot. I've talked about how I've smoked it before, but I'm not going to go around advertising like, hey, I smoke pot. I used to smoke pot all the time, and let's go to the cannabis store and get stoned. Come on. I don't do that. I don't go around advertising marijuana, but everybody in this fucking city does. You can buy the shit everywhere you go. There's all these dispensaries to buy it. It's no big deal. Everybody seems to fucking smoke it. I don't. I know that shit is toxic, and I know that it's got a lot of fucked up chemicals in it that are very high grade shit that'll fuck with your chemistry. It's strong stuff, okay, depending on what the fuck you smoke. But I know, because I have in the past smoked some shit that's real strong back when I was in college in Austin years ago. So I know that it can be very, very addicted. You can get very addicted to it easily. It's very strong and potent, and it's poison. It can be very harmful depending on what is in it. So I'm smart enough to know these things, but these people just think I'm some fucking stupid airhead that just wants to get fucking stoned and party all the time. Okay, let them think or say whatever they want, because I get this everywhere I go. They start laughing at me, talking shit about me when they don't even know me. Okay, they don't know me. They've heard something about me. They maybe come across a YouTube video, but they don't know me personally at all. They've never had a conversation with me face to face. So for people to do that kind of shit, but welcome to the reality. Everybody's got to have a label. What are you, mentally ill? You're borderline. You're bipolar. You're PTSD. You're a druggie. You're a alcoholic. Well, what's a label? Everybody needs to have a label in society so that other people can feel comfortable with your presence. You see, because otherwise you're going to be somebody who's going to make people uncomfortable if they don't have some kind of an idea as to who you are. A label, which makes it easier for them to scapegoat you and to gang stalk you and to ostracize you, embarrass you, or smear campaign you. So this is a video that I had to talk about that stuff because it's just like unbelievable the amount of scrutiny and surveillance that people get whenever they have been falsely accused of something, or I feel like I've been falsely accused of like murder or something. You'd think the way the amount of unwanted, horrible attention I get from some people, just mean fucking behavior from people, pushy, aggressive people, like just rude people, rude service, rude people really mean to me a lot. And I just ignore it and act like, and try to just keep my cool when they do that, because what are you supposed to do? You can't. It's just weird. And then everywhere you go, obviously there's surveillance cameras and people are fucking fake, acting like a lot of these people, employees at these, they're very rude, fake, like they're acting like just like very stuck up. Some people, the way they behave, it's not natural. It's not like it's very scripted almost. Some people, and it's like, but I notice they do that around me, and I notice that they're doing it whenever there's a fucking surveillance camera that they want to show off for or something. It seems like, I don't know, but it's really weird with all this ever since 9/11 and all this Patriot Act shit, the surveillance, it's just ridiculous. There's no privacy anywhere. The bathrooms, you go to the bathroom in a public place or whatever, there's fucking surveillance. And if it's not right in your fucking face, a camera, then it's satellite surveillance. And this is what people need to understand, is that every fucking thing you do, you realize you're under surveillance. Everybody is under surveillance 24 hours a day via satellite shit and everything. It's constant surveillance. And this is a fact. I know that most people are completely oblivious to that. They don't care, but I'm well aware of that because I can feel it and sense it. And I personally don't like it because I feel that it's an encroachment and complete violation of my privacy rights as a citizen of the United States. I find it very, very much a encroachment of my civil liberties, of my rights, to be under that kind of scrutiny and unwanted voyeuristic surveillance. It's disgusting to me to think that people want to spy on people to that extent.